like this. I like this. I like this. I like this. I like this.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to the show. We've been having some technical difficulties. I sure hope that all my co-hosts get in because we were having some technical difficulties. I got it all straightened out now, so that's why we're a little bit late. But I want y'all to share. I don't know what that color doing up here. Who was playing with this? Must be was that's the Jamar Torre colors look like. That look like Jamar Torre. Jamar, you was in my back office changing the colors. We're gonna change our colors back to what they're supposed to be. There you go. Blue, as in Tompkins Wolverines. Y'all know the mighty Wolverines from Tompkins. Y'all see it right back there, Tompkins Wolverines. All right. My host, co-hosts, they all be in here after a while. They're all a little bit late, and they'll be here after a while. We got a bunch to talk about tonight. The name of our show tonight is The Fall of a Beauty Queen and the Rise of a Political Queen. And we're going to be talking about that tonight as soon as the rest of them get on here. I will start the show off. Like I said, we had technical difficulties, so I hope it didn't knock their link out. They're always late, but they ain't never this late. Unless they call and tell me they're not showing. But at any rate, I'll be able to do the whole show by myself. It don't make no difference. Y'all don't want to hear me all day. What's up, Malvise? What's happening? All right, we're going to need you, Malvise. We got this run coming. We got a run coming. Good evening, Dr. Betty Jones. Y'all make sure that y'all share, because we got some hot information tonight. Y'all make sure. I'm going to go ahead and give y'all a treat, since y'all are the first two here, and well, it's more than y'all watching. Y'all the first two commented. There's 7 people watching. Was at one time. So what we'll do is I want to give y'all a preview for our new promotional. Here's Dr. Torre. He came in. And he the reason we had technical difficulties because he ran his show over tonight. And his show ran a little later than what it was supposed to run. But anyway, I want to give y'all a sneak peek of our promotional video. This is a rough draft of it. We're gonna update it a little bit later on, but these are our shows. People don't know that we have this many shows. I'm gonna play it now. I'm gonna probably play it in the middle, and I'll probably play it at the end. It's about how long? About a minute and 30 seconds. My young producers over there, engineers, telling me. So I'm gonna give them a sneak peek before me and you start the show. Sandra McKeithen called and said she was getting in a minute. I told y'all that we because of the difficulties, I don't know what happened. But I'm gonna give y'all a sneak peek of the promo that we'll be airing over the next few weeks. All right, you ready, Dr. Torre?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. Okay, that's a rough draft of our promotional video. How you like it, Dr. Torre?
I like it. I like it. I like the direction. I like that. I think it's a good thing. And I was gonna be on the Rabble some, but I was gonna be on the Rabble the entire time. So, but that's why I say I gotta come on the Rabble right now. You know, because when I saw Julius Hall by himself, and I'm like, I know people don't want to hear Julius Hall by himself the entire time. So
Didn't get too much.
but that, but I say,
Didn't
but this also give me opportunity to get me some. I can get some of my thoughts out uninterrupted. So I'm like,
Hey,
hey,
without a doubt, the floor is yours. I mean, we can start the lightning round when they come, but if you got thoughts that you want to dispense to the people, then hey,
I
by
mean,
all means, give it to us.
I mean, we can start with some stuff in the lightning round, but
Oh, okay.
I'm going to say with regard to the beauty queen, and I was talking the beauty queen. Now, and this is not to take away because of my experience has been that I've been engaged in mental health work for I have to say like for some 20 years. So I understand. So that's 2 decades. I understand that. I understand the trauma and I understand the issues. But then also, and I have to go and say that and people saying that the 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 concern with regard to that and saying that Black people don't go and get mental health work. Black people do get mental health treatment, but sometimes it's self-medicated. That is that they have to use the things that's in their environment because sometimes they have issues with regard to having the access. Because again, what we look at on the political front, that when you have people limiting funding and support for people that can get granted aid with regard to getting mental health treatment, so people try to make it seem like Black folks don't try to go and get that. I'm like, that's not the narrative that we need to always be promoting. And many times people promote that solely, like Black folks are not trying to get aid. People don't want to get aid. I'm going to say this: being in that profession for some 2 decades, I've seen where, especially with the community service boards, the predominant numbers of people getting this treatment and a lot of these facilities are Black folks, especially in urban areas. There's Black folks the ones who are getting the treatment, and they're making money off of them. It's just that sometimes they get thwarted. But then also saying, because some of us, we get caught up into some other things with regards to how we need to live our life. And one thing that's going to share with that, what Wesley shared on Run Tell, that freedom is a lifestyle. And that for many of us, we're not free because we are so caught up into the world of other people. You have to begin being secure in yourself with regards to that. And that sometimes we tend to ignore those people who are trying to give us those seeds. And I know that why they are ignored at times is based on the fact that we have stuff bombarded at us on a constant basis, misinformation constantly hitting us. But I tell folks, what we do have free reign or free thought with regards to being able to make some decisions. And so some people, they don't like that. And I'm like saying, like we need to assess some of this right here. We need to assess the environments that people are in. And sometimes we look just at that individual and we throw that sympathy out there for that. And I'm like saying, no, we need to look at the environments, because sometimes we need to correct the environments, and that the environments are crippling the people.
Okay. We got a mental health expert coming on at about 8 something. When we get to that topic, he has a show here, Two Therapists and a Mic, 2 doctors out of Atlanta. And their show is on this platform. And Dr. Harrison Davis will be joining us about 8 something to a little later, 8:15 or so, to talk about that.
Yes, sir.
But I think it's just the stigma in the Black community that if you ask for help, then people will look at you in a different way. And we all need help sometimes. Some of us just fight through it, like you said, and we treat ourselves. And sometimes we can pray through it, and sometimes you got people that'll help you through it. And sometimes you just got to get help. Because somebody that'll listen and let you talk and be able to, a lot of people will probably like medication, but any kind of help you get is better than no help at all.
Right. And see, a part of it is, and I throw out the folks that again, we put the burden on the individual, make it seem like it's the individual, it's their fault that they don't want to get help. What sometimes it comes down to, they don't necessarily know that. So they need the resources. They need the institutions or the agencies or departments or the people out there who have the information that let it be known. This is what you can go and do. But sometimes I have to go and say, how many times do we see these groups coming to us and letting us know that with some of the wealthy folks, their physician is the one not telling them, like, we need to get you into this program right here. Their physicians are telling them that. But in some of our cases, we don't have physicians telling our people that. We don't have counselors doing it. We have school counselors who are going to tell some of them that, hey, this is what you need to get. But then instead, we don't get that. So I'm like, because I'm constantly out there saying, you cannot put the ball solely on the victims. And that's why I hear so often with Black folks that we constantly put it on us. The burden is on us that we're the ones not doing. I'm like saying, people telling us about that. I have to go and say, I didn't necessarily know what Thailand's really was about. I could hear about Thailand's, but I didn't know. And so nobody really made me clear for me to clearly understand, saying this is what I'm supposed to do. Maybe I might have been ignored it, but I'm just throwing it out there saying that the burden cannot be solely on that person saying that they did not get it. And that sometimes with some people, they use the alcohol, they use the drugs to not self-medicate because, again, they don't have people around them in the environment, the people who should be responsible. What about that school counselor? They're more focused on some other things and not focusing with regards to that child who is experiencing some trauma. And so then they make some excuses with regards to why they can't do certain things. And I'm like saying, wait a minute. Have you done all that you can with regard to making sure that person is in a position? So I just want folks to understand on the Rabble, who are listening and looking at the Rabble, that you understand that do not always put the burden on Black folks saying Black folks do not want to get. I counter it with God to say that did people not Black folks know that this was accessible to them? In some cases, some people not feel all personal, get personal about it and say, yeah, I'll never doing. I'm saying, even myself, 20 years of this right here, I know for a fact some people did not know about some programs that possibly could have helped them. I know that. I know that this information was not disseminated like that overall public. So when I talk about programs I was a part of, people are looking stunned. And I'm like saying, okay, you're an intelligent person. You don't know about this. So what do you expect for somebody who's who is going through some trauma that you're not going through that, at least so that way you have a more level head than what they have. So I just want folks to understand and put it out there to folks, don't always go and try to say Black folks don't want to go and do. That's an easy thing. That's like saying Black on Black crime, like that's something that's real. And that's why I'm going to say that ain't real. Because again, we got to look at the departments and agencies that's supposed to be involved in this, and that sometimes they ain't doing what they got to do. Because and let me tell you this right here, you gonna say that type of stuff, but guess what? People making millions of dollars off of. You got corporations here who are making millions of dollars, and their clientele are Black people in the mental health field. I'm just saying the mental health field. Some of them shouldn't be getting money at all, and that's why I've shared this long ago. Someone just getting the money, ain't providing the services. And Rich, I'm going to share this with y'all. I had some of my folks going to discuss with me how counselors are like this. They talking, should be getting therapy, and the counselors are sleeping on them.
Wow. And a lot of the trauma that is going to be coming up with the people, the younger people nowadays, has to do with our first subject on the lightning round.
Okay.
And that first subject is school shootings. You had 2 police officers get killed at university in Virginia. Then you had 2 students get shot in Minnesota yesterday or yesterday, and one of them died. What happened to fist fights, Dr. Torre? Why can't we have some type of conflict resolution where there doesn't have to be a death? If we used to, the worst thing used to hear back in the day, somebody got cut. That was the worst. You get beat and dragged, but the worst you used to have was a cut.
And again, I'm going to say that institutions and places that should be more responsible are not being responsible. And that's not to say, and I'm going to say like this, hit dogs will holler. If it don't pertain to you, you don't even sweat it. You keep doing the good things that you're doing. But if it pertains to you and you want to holler about it, then I'm like saying, listen, I'm going to address you about it. Because again, are people doing what they need to do who are in these departments, in these agencies, or in these programs, in these institutions, doing what they can with regards to say, helping people that if you know that this is a trend that is happening right now, why are we not looking at more conflict resolution stuff within our school systems? Well, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing out just our school system alone. Why are we not infusing that into our class? Why are we not infusing that in pre-K and primary and secondary, education? Why are we not letting that be a part of getting people to understand? But no, instead, we just go on. And because again, sometimes the hands are tied with regards to teachers when they have them more concerned about teaching them to prepare for a test, as opposed to teaching them with regards to life skills that are necessary for them to think. And when I say life skills, I'm talking the critical thinking. When they're not helping them to not deal with critical thinking, that when somebody asks them of their opinion and they are in a certain environment, they don't know how to give their opinion. But when they're around in a personal setting where they feel comfortable, they give their personal opinion. But then in some other setting, they're afraid to do so. So that tells me, like I'm saying, you're not helping them with regards to critical thinking. And so what are we doing with regards to now some of us being critical thinkers, saying that we know that this is an issue. So why are we not creating programs, again, from pre-K on, that we now begin to develop a generation of folks who can go back to, if it's a conflict, they know how to handle it properly.
And that is a great thought, because there needs to be something done, and done quickly, because I think it's getting out of hand. The first thing that these kids want to do now, they have a beef, they want to shoot each other and kill, and they don't understand death is the end. And then when you go to prison, it's almost the end for you also. And so that is a part of the problem. Our next subject, Bill Cosby to be retried. 84 years old. Why are they still messing with Cosby? The state Supreme Court overturned his conviction, and because the prosecutor did something wrong, and the man is 84 years. He served what, 2 years or 3 years? I think that they need to leave that alone. What are your thoughts, Dr. Torre?
I'm going to call it, and I share with the Rabble family, this is called bloodlust. This country right here has a desire for bloodlust. No matter what, no matter how nice you think these people are, they have a desire for bloodlust. And what it is, they have a desire for vengeance. Now, I will share this with you. When it comes down to oppressed people, they tell oppressed people, you ain't supposed to have that type of desire. You ain't supposed to be about vengeance. That's not supposed to be you. And we going to throw that out there. We going to talk about, we going to tout that again, with us, no, I have to forgive. You not understanding that was a tactic that was used to make sure that if you did rise up, that you will basically be forgiving, and that gives other people time to basically thwart you or stop you. But now for other people, when they have positions of power, they have privilege, guess what? They are absolutely about bloodlust. And that's what this is. This is about legal, judicial, criminal justice bloodlust. This is a part of, now I'm not discounting the treatment that occurred, but as you're saying, like, hey, wait a minute, why we, it is about bloodlust. We like vengeance. Certain segments of the population are able to get vengeance. And we don't even understand. It's still, I'm put it out there, it still comes down to race, no matter race and ethnicity. No matter how you try to cover it up, that's what it is about, bloodlust.
Okay. And our next subject. We got a Washington State trooper that became a big social media hero, and Fox News exploited him he cussed Governor Inslee out on his last day on the job and retired. And he refused to take the COVID test. He refused to take the vaccine. He refused, and then he died. And Fox was just parading him in front of everybody and doing all of that. And then all of a sudden this happened. And my thing is about Fox News, and that was our next thing. We could tie both of them in together. The Washington State trooper dies and for not taking the vaccine, and whether Fox News cares, because what we understand is that they've all had their shots. They've all had the boosters, but they're telling the people not to take the shot. And that's bad. When you're telling people to take a chance like that, you shouldn't take a chance with your life like that.
So, and some people are upset that the fact that they've been playing his video and discussing why he was not going to take it and why he was upset. And but other people say that they say, but listen, the man has died, and y'all still have used his video. And some people think that is improper, that's macabre, but again, they're saying he's died. But now I'm going to share this with you, Brother Julius, that there are a host of them out there like that, a host of them that I see almost on a daily basis, the stuff that when I go through, I see where they talk about these anti-vaxxers and all of them, and that now some of them now in the hospital, and one of them that he said, please raise my son, and other things like that. And then others, you got twins. There's a myriad of folks who are out there. This is going on. And that's why I tell people, especially, and I'm going to say this in Savannah, when we have people around here who are saying, almost make it seem like if somebody's gotten the vaccine and even gotten the booster, and because that person that expressed a concern about being around other people, listen, they make it seem like it's something wrong with you because you chose to do that. And then other people still they try to go with these fears with regards to, oh, this is what they did, this is what they did. I'm like saying, but check it out. No matter how y'all try to play the game, like Nicki Minaj and all that, and talk about this is what happened if somebody got the vaccine. Check this out. The people who are dying, and even some physicians that I know of who've gone and said this right here, they said that even no physician should say, and some of them have not said, but it's been twisted by the media to say that if you get the vaccine that you will not get COVID. They say even when you get a flu shot, that does not mean that it's going to prevent you from getting the flu. So they're saying, so why are y'all not running with this right here like that? And then I hear black folks saying this type of stuff. Black folks, I'm like saying to black folks, you all cannot be doing stuff like that. It is more detrimental for you to do that as opposed to these other people. When you do that now, all you do is now plant the seed in people who are not giving information, like I shared early on, who are not giving proper information. So all you do, you aid and abet in this system of oppression against us. And so with Fox News, that's all it's about. That they are not about helping all of us. They're about helping the few. They're helping the wealthy. That's what they are about. It is about the manipulation. That's what goes on. And I tell people, I said, why? But then here it is in Savannah. When I hear African Americans not going and saying, oh no, such and such and so and so and so, and I'm like saying, like, yo, you are a danger to us right now because that information that you're sharing is not correct. It's not correct. And again, and then don't try to make me feel bad because I got the vaccine. I'll let you go ahead and do what you got to do. I'm just saying your information, your content is incorrect. And so then you're trying to rationalize and justify, make excuses about, check this out. This is what happened because, like so-and-so got it and they still experience this right here. They tell you in other vaccines, it does not necessarily say it's 100% with regard to stopping it all, but it can deter some things. And you're going to the wrong people, doing the people who already have an awful system of health care. This is part of the genocide, part of the annihilation.
And we got Dr. Harrison Davis backstage, but we got one more thing on the lightning round, and we're going to bring him up. And the last thing on the lightning round is, let me see, where was it? My young reps producers had to leave. North Carolina U.S. Representative Madison Cawthon. He was in the insurrection. He was in the insurrection. He was part of it on January 6th, when they raided the Capitol. Now, the state of North Carolina has filed paperwork for him to not ever run for office again because he took part in a coup. And that's what I was trying to, that was here today, we were going to be talking about. But do you think that he should? He says that it doesn't matter, that he wasn't a direct part of it. He was just there, and that he should be able to run for office no matter what. I think that everybody up there should have been charged with treason because they betrayed the country. But if only one person died is what is so fantastic about that, amazing about it, is that only one person died. But had it been Black Lives Matter going there and storming the Capitol, they'd have started shooting when they started attacking them, spraying mace on them and everything else, because our lives aren't valued the same as a white life. And it's just fact. It's nothing racist that we're saying. We're just stating fact. And what we're trying to do is level the playing field and make sure that things are equal in this country, which will take another 100 years or more before we can get that. But if we don't start today, then it'll always be like this. People wonder why we complain so much. We complain because we are being underserved. We're being forgotten about. We're being mistreated. And this is why we complain the way that we complain. This is why this program is here. This is why this network is here. So if go ahead and talk about this for a few minutes, Dr. Torre, and before we get to Dr. Harrison, so we'll probably jump subjects and go to the death of a beauty queen. That's the subject he's on here for. But Madison, what do you think? Madison Cawthon, should he be able to run, being that he entered that that he was a part of that insurrection, or not?
Well, there's some components to this that I pieced together that how I look at it. One, just as you shared, if this was say involving Black Lives Matter, not just Black Lives Matter, if it was any movement involving African people and oppressed people being involved in it, they were going to say that it was sedition or treason, and they'll still be clamoring about why we were wrong about this, and then basically talk about what we need to leave the country, try to put us out the country, and other stuff like that. Since that's how we feel, that would be a part of that would be a part of the song that they will be singing. Not just saying America the Great, anything like that. God bless America. They'd be saying, get y'all behinds out of here. That's what they'd be singing. And that's what they'd be putting out there. Because again, they feel that they're entitled to this nation, and that with regard to my God-given right as a member of this nation, as this society, I have a right to speak out. They're going to tell me that I can't speak out, and that what I did with that was an insurrection. So now that's one component to it. The other component is this right here, that guess what? When something was created called the Confederate States of America, guess what? For those folks to come back, they had to do a loyalty pledge. For some of those who broke away from this nation right here, they had to do basically an oath. I was going to say that this person, again, right there, an elected official, that again should not be allowed, and that again, that person then broke their oath with regard to this nation right here. They did not. They are not a part of this nation. They are treasonous. They engage in sedition. They are part of sedition of this nation. So you all going to say that you talk about the enemy combatants that live right within our nation. These are the terrorists and other things like that. I'm like, look at here. You got terrorists, domestic terrorists that are right here in this nation, and some of them were a part of January 6th. These people, again, what they have been about trying to wreck this nation right here. You have a former president who said that if he's able to get reelected, he would then go and pardon the folks. So again, so right there, they tell you that even at the top, the person that can be the top, the head of this nation, will still engage and allow and promote sedition and treason against, excuse me, when it comes down to privilege, when it comes down to Caucasian privilege, for them still to be a part of a manifest destiny in their minds. But let it be about oppressed people now trying to say, we merely want to have fairness and equality. Oh my God, you're going to lynch them. That's what happened.
Okay. Well, we're going to go to our third subject and skip the first two. We'll come back to the first two after we get Dr. Harrison Davis on, and we're going to go down to our third subject, and that is death of a Black beauty queen. Dr. Davis, do you want to join us now, sir? Come on in. Oh, you came in the other way. You came in through the link.
I did. Can you hear me?
Oh, okay. Yeah, we hear you fine, sir.
Good. How are you guys doing?
All
excellent. Right. Dr. Torre, I don't know whether you met Dr. Davis before.
This is my first time. Yes.
He has a show on ATR called Two Therapists and a Mic.
That's correct.
You want to tell us about your show, and then we're going to talk a few minutes about mental health in our community.
Absolutely. Yeah, I could talk about mental health in Black folks all night long, so you might have to stop me. But Two Therapists and a Microphone is a show about not only mental health, emotional health, but overall well-being, social issues, financial issues, emotional issues. And we'd like to target the Black community. You have myself and my co-host, Dr. Kesha Dickerson. We're two licensed psychotherapists where we talk about relevant topics that are impactful within the Black community. And, you know, there's a lot of shows out there that have people offering advice. And what we just like to say to people is, why don't you get advice or some guidance from someone who is trained, licensed, and experienced to give you some credible advice designed to help you to figure some things out. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to educate and raise some awareness about some issues within the Black community. And we're on every Thursday night at 7:30 p.m.
And how long you on for?
We're 30 minutes right now. It's a 30-minute show.
Okay. And
talk for 30 minutes though. You need to be a whole hour.
We're working towards that.
And to the viewers of the Rabble, just to let y'all know, he didn't go and say it, but we also have a show called Run Tell That on ATR, but that wasn't said. But to the viewers of the Rabble, I just want to just put, again, it's not a shameless plug. It's an actual plug for Run Tell That.
Are there any shameful plugs?
Oh, never, ever, not with me. Never, ever. Never, ever, not with me.
Everybody know about Run Tell That. He's a brand new show.
Yeah, we got 3 episodes under our belt.
I'm just putting it out there. I'm just.
Okay.
Where are you from?
I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Not. You see, from Atlanta. Are you from Lithonia or are you from Atlanta?
Southwest Atlanta, Swats.
Okay.
And my co-host, Kesha, Dr. Dickerson, she's from Montgomery, Alabama.
Okay. All right. You can vote in the election. That's right. Okay. Yeah. Because they be straight from Roswell, from Alpharetta. I'm from Atlanta. I was like, cut that out. You're not from Atlanta.
Well, it's the Metro Atlanta. We claim all the people.
Oh. No. Well, I tell folks this. Guess what? If I'm traveling and then you tell me from Atlanta, and then and I'm like, and I break down. I like, oh, I said, you in Atlanta? Right? I'm in Atlanta also. You like, no, I'm over in such and such and so. So I'm
I'm
in
in
Widener.
Fayetteville. I'm
I'm
in
in what? So
Noonan.
I'm like, okay. You told me you were in Atlanta. I tell folks, but again, we talk about health, about having a sense of pride, because some of us, we demur, from doing stuff like that. I tell folks, no, you let people know. But again, it's a part, again, that wellness, again, saying that, hey, I want folks to know I have a sense of pride of where I'm from and what I'm about. So, yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I'm from Southwest Atlanta.
Yes,
Google
sir.
it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Piedmont Rebellion, all that. Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, Doctor, what do you have y'all been keeping up with this? Because I was trying to figure out what made this young woman jump off of this building. She's a Miss America, a former Miss America, and 30 years old, beautiful,
Yep.
intelligent.
Recently crowned.
Yeah. So what made her? And this is what when you dead, you're gone, I guess because people just go through things. Those voices be talking in your head, and people don't think that that's true. Voices talk in my head sometimes. There's the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other one. So,
Well,
tell us what you're thinking, or if you did anything on this to find out what really went on, the background.
I did some research on it. As you know, the last episode that Aisha and I did last week for Two Therapists on a Microphone was on suicide within the Black community. And we did it in response to Regina King's son. I forgot his name, but he was 26 years old and committed suicide. Yep. So we did our show Thursday night. And sure enough, over the weekend, I think it was Sunday, I heard the news about the Miss USA winner, rather. And I was surprised, wasn't quite sure if it was real. It was so close to the death of Regina King's son. And so I think it was until Monday or Tuesday when I started, just doing a little investigation on it. And so she won Miss USA in 2019.
Yes,
not too long ago, and has a undergrad degree, an MBA. She's an attorney, has a law degree.
Yeah.
She's a gorgeous woman, 30 years old, and she's working in television as a correspondent on one of the shows. I forget the name of it. And so it looked like she has a lot going on for her, but we never know what people are going through just because they look happy on the outside and they appear to have a life that many people would dream of, to accomplish all the things that she's accomplished. She still had some things that were tormenting her. Some of us like to use the term demons sometimes, or some things that she believed to be unbearable. So I could only go by the information I read in the media. And a lot of it is consistent. I don't like to rely on one source. But you're asking me to speculate. I don't know the woman. I'm sorry she died, but I can tell you she meant it. This was not a call for help. Mm-hmm. She wanted to end it, and she made sure that there were not going to be any mistakes where she would wake up in the hospital because the bottle of pills that she took didn't exactly kill her. It just put her in a coma, and that has happened to quite a few people. So this was very intentional for her. I also understand that she posted something on her social media, I believe it was Instagram, that she hopes that everyone has a restful, peaceful day. This day brings you peace is what I'm looking over my article now.
I want to give you all a free mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And so all of that tells me, this was planned. It's unfortunate. I'm hearing some feedback from something. It was planned. She meant it. It was intentional. And usually when someone is at that point, things are unbearable for them. They don't see a way out. They feel like they are trapped. They cannot manage themselves or the situation. Her parents or her family, they have not released any information about past situations or her mental health or situations like that because she has seemed so happy on the outside. But if I could speculate, and this is purely speculation from what I have heard through media, news media outlets, putting the pieces of the puzzle together, I would not be surprised if she was dissatisfied or filled with discontent because she was 30, had reached that milestone. She was an overachiever. She accomplished a lot. I believe she went to Wake Forest to get her graduate degree and her law degree, and then she has undergrad degree. And I don't know if she had some goals for when she reaches the age of 30, if she was determined to make it to a certain point or accomplish certain things. This is just speculation. But whatever it was that she wasn't able to accomplish because she is such an overachiever, that made things unbearable for her. I have talked to many suicidal individuals in the past. I've talked to individuals who had some traumatic childhoods filled with torture and abuse, physical and sexual abuse, from people they trust. And I also had a client when I was working in a college campus who was suicidal because she made a B on an exam in one of her classes. And so that B meant a lot to her. And she interpreted that as not being successful, not being smart. And so the meaning behind that B on one exam in one class devastated her. The rest of us, that B may not have the same type of weight. I would have been happy to get a B my freshman year of college in a tough class. But I don't know what type of weight Cheslie Kryst, I believe is her name, had on some type of situation where she concluded that she may have been a failure at something or disappointed in something. And I'm only attaching it to a 30th birthday because that's a huge milestone for a lot of us. But as I pull it all together with the limited information I have, never talked to her, never talked to the family. That's what I am theorizing with her, but I really don't know the truth. She could have had a traumatic childhood herself, and we just don't know. She could have been involved in drugs or had severe pathology. We don't know. She looked good on the outside. She seemed to have a wonderful life with a lot of things ahead of her. But even with that on the inside, she was unhappy. And she decided not to send a warning, but to end everything. And she made sure that it was not going to be an accident. So that's my take on it. You know, it is what it is. I could be completely wrong about everything, but as I pull it together, that's what came up.
And that's part of what a lot of people say when they say, I don't look like what I've been through or what I'm going through.
Gotcha.
And sometimes
you can't see the scars.
Reach out and ask for help. We got that show. It's every Thursday at 7:30. It's 30 minutes long now. So I guess when y'all start calling in and with these mental health questions on Thursday at 7:30, he'll extend it to 8:30, because at 8:30 this Thursday, Dr. Torre will be hosting the Ebony Sports Reporters. And we're going to have fun with that Thursday at 8:30. But if you extend it to 8:30, you just got to get out of there by 8:25 so that he can start on time. Because he will tell me that he's the little brother show again. But on a serious note, we want people to, even if you know somebody who's going through that, don't take it as a joke. It's serious. People are crying out for help, and they show you signs sometimes.
They do,
and you just got to direct them to that help. You got to hold them, because you don't want to bury them. You want to hold them and not lower them. Because you lowering them in that grave, you want to hold them up so that they can get that help. And you might be the one that can turn that person's life around, because when you're gone, you are gone. Ain't no
absolutely
coming back. You're gone.
So with it, I just want to give everybody the suicide hotline number. That phone number is 1-800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255.
And the
Okay.
thing,
Well,
what I'll throw out the folks is that, and just like what you were saying, that is about finality. What she did was an act of finality. It
Yes.
just is absolutely
No
in
coming back.
that's right. Bam. I like finality, and
But
then
for
say that.
her, that was a better place than where she was Saturday afternoon.
So she then said, "I leave everything to my mother." So
Yep.
I'm like, okay, you leave everything to your mother, and that there's active finality right here. And that again, like, and that's what my thing is like, to understand what is the background, what's the backstory, because there's a backstory there. There's a backstory that again, on the surface, we don't have a clue, and
Yep.
that's why I want to see people that begin. Let's now find out what the backstory. If people can, if people will want to relinquish the privilege of not disclosing. That again, what is the backstory? Because what happens now too, that becomes something for someone else who is in a similar situation, or they think they're in a similar situation. That I have all this right here, but I'm not happy right now, and so I'm going to do an act of finality also. So I say, okay, so now that's not the trend for us to engage and to follow, because again, there may be something else that you might say, oh, wait a minute, that's what was going on with her. That's what occurred with her. Okay, I might need to rethink some of this, that, even if not with regard to saying committed suicide, but then about the wellness aspect, that some of us still feeling dissatisfied, that we have a home, we have a vehicle, we have income, we're able to take care of ourselves, we're able to have food, we're able to live. But some of us still not satisfied with regard to that, because now, my house is not as nice as so-and-so house, but here it is, you're making the payments, you're not struggling, anything like that financially, but you're secure. If you want to take a vacation, you're able to take a vacation. You might not be able to go, say, to Spain or go to Dakar, Senegal, but you can go to, let's say, Miami, or you can go to Charleston. You're able to still go and enjoy aspects of life. But with other people, we're not so caught up, because again, my car is not like I don't have a Tesla. I don't have a Tesla. I just got me, I got me a little Prism, but it's functioning. And so that's what. So some of us then not being satisfied.
Yeah, but you know what I found out years ago? I've been doing counseling and psychotherapy for 24 years now. Even rich people with everything get depressed. They get suicidal. As I also believe the same thing that you just expressed. You have everything you need. Have a wonderful family. I talked about Regina King and her son. She loved her son. She took him to the war show with her. She talked about him, and it appears as though, and I believe he grew up in a very loving, warm, supportive environment, and yet I believe he still suffered from depression, intense depression, and some unmanageable suicidal thoughts. So I like to tell people sometimes, over the years, some of the happiest people I've met have been people who were low income. Mm-hmm. They were just, some people use the term poor. They were just happy to pay that rent. They didn't have to worry about anything. They didn't care for all those other luxuries that the rest of us get upset about sometimes. When the Wi-Fi goes out, falling apart, they didn't care about any of that. They were happy to have their family there with them. They were on Section 8. They paid that $18, $25. They paid their light bill. They got a discount on it. And they were able to buy the fast food that they wanted. They were happy because they didn't have all that other stuff to worry about. Yet I have met those people who I would categorize as wealthy, and they were really extremely dissatisfied with who they were and their situation. So we never know what people are going through, but I can also tell you a concern that I have, and it may be unfounded. There have been other suicides in the past, other celebrities. I think I read Dak Prescott, his brother, died from suicide back in 2020 during the pandemic, and we just didn't hear about it. But now that we have these 2 back-to-back suicides within the Black community from celebrities or people who are related to celebrities, I'm hoping that it doesn't send a signal
Yes.
to other people who may be struggling with some type of issue,
Yes.
and they've been able to manage their suicidal thoughts
Yeah.
in the past, but these 2 acts will signal to them to go ahead and do it. Excuse me. To go ahead and act on it. So that was a first thought that I had, actually, when I heard that the beauty queen Cheslie Kryst had died from suicide. It's like, wow, it's so close to the last. It's literally 7 days later, a weekend later. So I hope this doesn't send a trend to people within the Black community. I know the family is grieving, and they have to go take care of their baby girl. You know, they got to make funeral arrangements. This is nothing that they plan. But at some time in the future, it would be helpful to, like you said, I think it's Issa. It's Issa. For us to know the backstory and the circumstances, to share that information so that other people who are going through the same thing can seek help. But that may not be a priority right now for the grieving family. They got to bury their baby girl, you know, and so, but in the future, I hope that someone can talk about what she went through, and also Regina King's son. I'm still unclear about that situation, but it could, if they can release some of that information with the effort of trying to help people, that might be great. But I don't want other people to do this, because now they can see it as a sign. They're so close to it, but they never did it, and then they say, "Oh, they did it," you know. So it's okay.
That's it. Exactly. That's it. And we're not having those conversations. And see, some people think that you're lacking some empathy, and I'm like, no. What we're looking at is that we're trying to thwart someone else who may not be in a similar situation, but they think that they are, and so they now go and do that. We're like saying, no, that there are resources, there are things out there that need the help. But I want to go to something what you're saying, some of the happiest people. And I had a person say this to me. The person said that they used to say about themselves that they were not a materialistic person, but they had been around me, and they started saying, like, you know what? You know, compared to you, I am materialistic, because there's some things like, I'm one of those people like, hey, I'm not sweating certain things. You know, I got a house. You know, I'm able to go ahead and pay, you know, for me to stay in the house. I'm able to get to certain places, you know, because again, and that comes down with regards, I tell people, there's a phrase I use, being secure in self. When you're secure in self, then there's some things that other people not come at and they're so concerned about, that you're not sweating that right there. If I know that I got me some shoes, then it may not be, it's not necessarily some Jordans or some Kobe's, but guess what? I like the shoes that I got. and I'm able to look, and I think I look good in the shoes that I got. So I'm not sweating that. So again, I don't have to validate myself with other people, and I don't have to validate myself with accoutrements. I don't have to validate myself with regards to items. I'm secure in myself. So yes, I may not have Gucci jeans, but guess what? I got me some Walmart jeans, you know, the George brand, and I'm happy with those right there. And that's why we have to work with regards to that. We have to get to that point. Many of us, and so what happens sometimes, even wealthy people sometimes now will dominate and bully people psychologically to make them feel, because they're not feeling good in themselves. They're not going to bully somebody else to make it seem like they're less of because they don't have it. But really, they're not happy with themselves with regard to this.
I agree with that. So think about the food show critic Anthony Bourdain.
Yes.
You have to look up his name.
Yes.
He killed himself in 2018.
Yes.
He seemed to have it all too. I used to watch the show.
Able to travel. That's right.
He could travel and appeared to have all the luxuries that many of us wish we had, or the ease to travel that he did, and still he was unhappy. So you know, just to back up my earlier statement, sometimes I don't know if materialistic items or your economy can bring you the happiness that you want. If you're truly miserable and dealing with intense depression and some anxiety, money can do very little for that. And like I saw it said also, I know some people who were very happy. They were poor. I wouldn't want to be poor like them, to be honest with you. But they were happy. They were happy. It was a simple life. You know, they rode the bus to go to work, and they got just the necessities that they needed. They went back home, and they were cool. They were good. Whereas other people with more resources are sometimes overreacting to some of our first world problems that are out there and trying to pay for things just to keep up with everybody else, you know, and that can cause some financial stress. But those are my thoughts about her.
Dr. Davis, I don't know whether you got time, but I got one other subject.
I'm good. I'm at home.
Okay, I got one other subject that I'd like you to stay on with, because all my hosts, they evidently when we had the technical problem, they didn't get the link, so I haven't had a chance to look at my phone to see where they're at. But so I got time to pick your brain on this other subject. I'm gonna skip over one subject and get to this one.
Okay.
Black History Month.
Hallelujah.
Black History Month. I got two guys on here. I want the thoughts from the two doctors here, because it's 28 days long enough. And the other question I want both of y'all to answer is, with the Republicans thinking the way they're thinking with CRT, the critical race theory, will they be trying to outlaw Black History Month also? Is it going to make their kids feel uncomfortable also? So y'all two can have that.
I'll let you go first, sir.
Going to go first.
All right. Well, one of the things, I share this, and what I've done in my classes, I'll go tell folks, you know, you have Asian American History Month, Pacific Islander History Month, you have each there. So what we told with Black History Month is, again, so when I go through this, I'll say oppressed people. And when you deal with folks who want to be the oppressors, you know, guess what? Pretty much every ethnic group in this country has a month. You got Jewish American History Month, and when it comes down to Latino, you got June, and you also got September, October. That again, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think it's June or May, but then also September, October for Hispanic heritage. So everyone has it. So it's not like it's something that's unique to Black people with regard to this, that we go and understand that, okay, all ethnic groups have a month. So that's not something that I would be afraid of. But I go and say, pop culture people caught into pop culture, they'll run with that type of stuff, or propaganda. They'll run with that stuff saying, oh my God. Now, even when it comes down to why do we have, because what's the origins of it? Carter G. Woodson, he basically said, listen, we're going to have Negro History Week. Why is that? Because Lincoln is born in this week, and also Frederick Douglass. It's not based on the fact that February was the shortest month of the year. What that's tied to that, again, what Carter G. Woodson saying, these two people have had an impact on Black people. And so he created that. And so then later on, we're going to say, we expanded to the entire month. So, it's just that, again, it's just a circumstance with regards to a calendar and with regards to birthdays. So people saying we got the shortest month of the year. And when I hear that type of stuff, I'm like, seeing once again, you coming to pop culture stuff. That again, go back and look at what was the purpose of it. Because again, when you understand that, you ain't even sweating it. But we always understand now that's going to get you cooled. They're like get you cooled, and other people talk about this. Yo, we discuss our history 7 days a week. We discuss our history every day of the year. We don't sweat that. So it's only other people when you don't appreciate who you are. When you don't appreciate who you are, that's when you got to do everything. And we talk about this at times, like right now. I got folks hit me up every day about, Jamal, can you come do a program for us? Can you come speak to our group? Can you come do this? I'm like looking at folks like, and we try to tell them, you ain't got relegated just to February. But we understand. And so this is when people are not going to be wearing their African clothing. But it comes down again, you are being guided by, again, what I'm going to say, by other people who are basically telling you, like, you celebrate, that you focus on this month right here. I'm like saying, you got school systems. And so I'm like saying, hey, wait a minute. And then we look at, again, Republicans, I think what we should be concerned with is the ones who, like I say, idiots that are in Mississippi right now. You're basically saying, hey, we're going to wipe it out. We don't want to make people feel uncomfortable about the history of Mississippi regarding civil rights. Well, we understand that Mississippi was a hotbed of that, just as I shared with my folks yesterday with regard to discussing the Empire State of lynching. You all familiar with the Empire State of lynching, right? Empire State of lynching. NAACP, when it said Mississippi led the United States with regard to lynching. The second one was called the Empire State of Lynching. And what state is that? Georgia. Because one of Georgia's nicknames, people going like to call Georgia the Peach State. That's a nickname for Georgia. But one of the other nicknames for Georgia is the Empire State of the South. But guess what? The NAACP in the early 1900s, when it said no, it's the Empire State of Lynching. So Georgia's right there with regard to that. So I'm like saying, in Mississippi, they want to basically dismiss it. So, because again, they want people not to know their story. But guess what? That does too. That damages people also, because now we live in a society, say a pluralistic society. And guess what? When you begin to limit the people understanding of other places, it becomes damaging to everyone. And I tell folks this: when you understand other languages and other cultures, you can make bridges and connections. When you don't, you can't connect. So now what happened, that does a disservice to you all in Mississippi and other places when you not try to do that. So I'm just throwing it out there from CRT to all that. And CRT, I tell folks, I'm not even trying to get into that intellectual exercise about that. All it is just history. It's just history. Why do we have to go? Because I tell people in ivory towers, they like to go into that type of crap. Coming some intellectual some stuff. I'm like, no, I don't need that. Just we all know that it's history. And with regards to that, because it's history, my brother, you don't know, but this is what I share with folks. Most of us do not know American history. We know American mythology. That's what we spit out. We spit out the mythology. We regurgitate the mythology. And so people want to go with that. That's why I try to tell them. I said, stop with that pop culture stuff, because all that's just the mythology. Know the history, then that's when you're rooted. Because then when you come to the mythology, you're like a leaf in the wind. Wherever it blows, that's where you go. But when you know your history, you're like a rooted tree. So no matter where the wind blows, guess what? Your leaves go like this, your limbs go like that, but you're still solid. And so that we got to be solid. We can't get caught into, again, Black History Month. We got the shortest month of the year. I'm like, fool, do you not understand the origins? That tell me right there, you don't know the origins. So now I got to pimp slap you into some sense.
So I agree with a lot of the things that I just heard. I'm not one to complain about the length of February. We got other things to focus on. I'm old enough where I remember Black History Week, but that was when I was very young. So I'm happy that the rest of the country decided to designate a month for a lot of people to focus on the accomplishments and the history of Africans in the United States. Black Americans is the term that I like to use, but I'm not going to complain about it. Like I just heard from Brother Issa, we can educate ourselves, and I believe it is time for us to take responsibility for that. There are many more resources out there than when many of us were in grade school. The 1619 Project is online, for God's sakes. You don't have to rely on your teacher for some mythical information. I like that that term that you use. So I like the idea for us taking full responsibility. We can do it through the church. We can do it through neighborhoods, communities. We can do it through some of the social organizations, the fraternities, the sororities, to educate younger people, some leadership development programs. I'm happy to see some of the Black History quizzes or the bowls that they have that are out there. So I like that. I am not one to encourage us to depend and rely on someone else to help us to figure out who we are. Today, it is much easier than it was 30, 40 years ago, simply because of the internet. Well, in my school, I went to Black schools, K through 12 in Southwest Atlanta. Shout out to Frederick Douglass High School in Atlanta and LP Miles Elementary School in Southwest Atlanta. I was taught about Black history. I knew what happened. They told us the truth. I don't remember it exactly being inside the textbooks. But my teachers taught us about it. I remember doing projects about it in the 3rd grade, giving a speech about Martin Luther King. I remember in a play for the 2nd grade, I portrayed Abraham Lincoln, and it was all about the Emancipation Proclamation. So I had that luxury of people providing it to me, and we didn't have the internet. Now, for a lot of kids who are not attending predominantly Black elementary and high schools, there are other resources out there. Now, as far as the CRT, the critical race theory, you mentioned the Republicans that are out there. I want to spread that out just a little bit. I don't want to just peg it's Republicans, who are wanting to erase history. They're the ones on the front line, the politicians, who have a voice that we hear to do these things. There are people out there who do not want the rest of the country to know what their ancestors did. They don't want us to know how they gained the power and wealth that they earned. And there are also a group of people out there who come from families whose grandfather or grandmother were immigrants, into the country. They're still white, Caucasian, but they've been able to attain some level of success that may have outpaced Black Americans in this country, and they don't see it as their issue. And so they are complicit with it many times, sitting on the sidelines and allowing other people to make these decisions to benefit them. And they don't feel like they have anything to gain by getting into that fight, taking either side, but they do benefit, from following along the path of a majority population who tend to make a lot of these decisions. And so there's a lot of components to it, there's a lot of dynamics to it. But I just like in counseling, psychotherapy, I go back to the client, but what about you? Let's focus on you. What can you do? I know what these other people did. I know how they harmed you, abused you, and I'm not minimizing any of that. But when are we going to empower ourselves to take full responsibility to make sure that our children are fully aware so that they're not confused? I have told my daughter many times, she's 12 years old tomorrow, watching news together or movies or TV shows, that's Hollywood magic. That's not real. That's fiction.
Yes.
That's not how that really happens.
Yes.
And we can have a conversation about that later, because that's how I feel obligated. While you watching that Disney special about some situation, I need you to know some more reality associated with it. So, but it's our responsibility. And I take on that role as a father. I'm just encouraging other Black folks to do the same thing for their kids, their nieces or nephews. I have a niece who grew up in an area where she attended private white schools, K through 12, very good education. And she realized she wasn't getting the truth in those classrooms at an early age. And she went to the internet, she's in college now, and started educating herself, checking books out at the library or going on Amazon, asking her mom or her aunt or uncle to buy her textbooks, books on these topics so that she could educate herself. She took full responsibility for that instead of complaining, that I don't know this and I don't like it that these other people aren't telling me. That's the truth. But the question is now, what are we going to do about it? So that's my 2 cents on it. Because you picked another topic that I'm very passionate about. That's Black history and the state of Black folks, regardless if it has anything to do with mental health.
Well, then I just need you to be a little bit shorter. What, Jamal? What?
I'm gonna need to sign out. I'm gonna need to sign out.
Okay.
It's 8:30. Is the show over?
I wanted to make sure. What did you think? You can answer this before you go about Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi Goldberg was suspended by ABC for saying that the Holocaust was not about race. Now, here you have her just saying that and them suspending her from her job for saying that. And you got, it's all kind of, it's in our psyche that that's just messing me up that she could be suspended for that. Here it is, Brian Flores trying to get a job in the NFL. So he has to sue the NFL to try to make them do the right thing. Used to be 8 Black coaches out of 32. Now it's only 1. Then you got Ted Cruz saying all kind of ridiculous things about why Biden shouldn't appoint a Black woman to the Supreme Court. So it's a bunch of things while and like we started the show, this is why we complain. This is why we fight the way that we fight. This is why our advocacy is so important, because of these things. And if we don't stand up together and fight, they will not respect us one by one. We have to be in numbers.
I agree.
That's the only thing that they respect is large numbers. And so y'all can take it. Jamal, you go before. Let Jamal go before you so that he can go, because he said he had to leave.
What is interesting is that with regard to Whoopi, and Whoopi made the statement, and basically it was just like that. It was just no reaction. But what happened? There was a clamor. Supposed started saying that wait a minute. They're not taking any action against her, and they began to push that. This was about a push, because initially they were like nothing was being done. They were like, she's their favorite. She's their favorite. And so that's what they were throwing out there. They said that this is an insult that she was not addressed with regard to this. Now, just to let you all know something, a lot of people don't realize that there are African people that were in some of those concentration camps also. Also, that the Nazis had something called, I want to say, it was called like Office 13, which they were addressing the Rhineland bastards, as the people were called. They were called Rhineland bastards. They had a program that they were to sterilize African people that were in Germany. So that, again, when we talk about the Holocaust, that we're looking at, again, African people being involved in it also. So, but we just going to focus on Caucasian Jews, European Jews, and that, but not looking at the fullness of it all. And so it's just like, hey, I said to myself, I said, this goes to show you the power of Caucasian Jews. And that, but then now, when people try to make it seem like that Jews are not, they're not Caucasian, I'm like, they are. So stop that. Again, logically, that's incorrect. But that goes to show you that what privilege does, because they still have privilege. They have the power to still evoke, some responses from people at times. Whereas what you're saying, Julius, is that, hey, guess what? For Black folks, we don't have privilege like that. We don't have power like that, because, again, a myriad of things come along with us to make us stop coming together or not functioning together. Because we have people working together, but not functioning together with a common voice when it comes down to disrespecting our culture, our history, and who we are as a people. That, again, it continue to aid and abet in a system of oppression.
Harrison.
Thank you for that. I'll keep it short, because you told me to keep it short. So the angle that I want to take it from, it sounds like, Whoopi Goldberg made some statements about the Holocaust that just were not factual, about Jews and the Holocaust, which surprised me with her last name being Goldberg. I just want to throw that out there. But it sounds like a group of people decided to cancel Whoopi. Now, I have heard a lot of rhetoric about people upset that Black folks in particular are trying to cancel people, when they say something that we don't like, that disrespects us. And now we have a little power with Black Twitter, social media, and then we can influence other people to take action against that person. And I hear all these other people complaining about it, and they criticizing, the cancel culture, and they're connecting it with Black Lives Matter. Now that supports the theory I had originally, when I thought the original people who were canceled, other people happened to be white people, and they will make sure to shut down somebody who was Black and they were doing something they didn't like. The Defamation League, which is a wonderful organization, and I wish we had something that was similar to that. Haven't they been canceling people for decades?
That's right.
Anti-Semitic statements, they will target them and go after them strong. But yet when we do it, or attempt to do it, we are criticized. But yet here's an example of a Black person who she said something that was factual. It wasn't factual. It wasn't correct. And they came after her. Like you said, it was a calm until some people started writing emails and phone calls, and you're trying to cancel her. So that's the angle, that's the thing that came up in my head, some hypocrisy that is there. The cancel culture has been around for decades. It's just we didn't own it until more recently. Other people have been doing it. It is organized, it is financed, it is funded, and they target people, and they're coordinating things with it. And now they're doing it to Whoopi. Now, she said it, you got to deal with it now. She's going to come back. She's only suspended, but I just think it's hypocritical for people to attack us when we attempt to do the same thing. We deserve to try to counsel you if you say something repeatedly, publicly that disrespects us, and try to put us into a place that we don't belong. That's my thought about it.
Ted Cruz? Shouldn't we be canceling Ted Cruz?
No, he's a politician, though. He's elected to office.
If I were in Texas, I would be promoting to vote for someone besides Ted Cruz. He has a number of issues wrapped around his fat belly, and this is just one of them. So I don't believe in voting for demons who are out there to make our life tough. And he happens to be one of those individuals that I would put into that category.
Dr. Torre, this is the question before you leave.
And my phone might die, so yeah. And plus, I gotta get ready for. I gotta get ready.
We'll probably touch on it tomorrow on the Sports Reporters, but the Denver Broncos are for sale. They're not hiring black coaches. They're not doing no black owners. Should a group of people like Jay-Z, Michael Jordan, Puff Daddy, all these rich people, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, Steve Smith, the richest black man in America, in America, Steve Smith, I think his name is Smith, right?
Robert
Smith. Robert Smith, yeah. The billionaire, worth $7 billion. Should they all get together and buy the Denver Broncos?
They don't have to get together. Oprah can buy that on her own. Jay-Z and Beyonce can buy the Broncos on their own. Michael Jordan owns part of the Charlotte Bobcats. In my understanding, Jay-Z has some ownership within the Brooklyn Nets. Yeah. So, I don't know if they're interested in it.
Well, what has been said is that Robert Smith, again, what has been said, that Robert Smith is a part of the group that will seek to purchase the Denver Broncos. That's what has been said. Now, whether whether that has some real traction, that remains to be seen. But my thing also is that, if anything, what should really be happening, black folks should be boycotting the NFL. That's what should be happening. That way we talk this type of stuff. So we like saying, like, hey, wait a minute. We see the inequities, what's going on. We should be having the same campaign to boycott the NFL. Guess what? If we're going to say that in unison, and especially then when you have maybe some of the athletes who also want to not be a part of it, but then that's when now we engage in fear. We have a lot of fear. Some of us have a lot of fear. We pass on that fear. We send that fear to generations of us. And so I'm like saying, no, that what should happen, like we got to go do that for us to try to have some equality. Because what some people do go and say, those billionaires, they hire people who like them, and they're comfortable with that. So, but also what the issue that we talk about on the political front too is that you have black folks who sit at the table, but they don't create policies to help the black community. So that's when we gotta have folks out there who are committed to this. And so what will be shocking to them if you have a unified effort across this country where black folks going, this is something I thought about earlier today, if black folks going to say, we're going to boycott the NFL. Yeah. There'll be buffers that are going to make excuses about why we should not do it. But then if you're going to start saying that, because what was a part of the success of civil rights movement in Savannah was that we had said, hit them in their pockets, hit them economically. That's why Savannah was able to be desegregated before any other city in the state of Georgia. Because for 18 months, people boycotted downtown Savannah. So that's why I keep saying, like, we got the traditions with us in Baltimore. Before you have the situation in Greensboro, North Carolina, they did it in Baltimore. It was the students at Morgan State who boycotted downtown business in Baltimore. And that made the businesses there going to say, we will desegregate, we allow black folks to not be shopping here freely. So that's all we got to do. It's the economics. But if you want somebody to become put together and go purchase the Denver Broncos, that's fine. But then that might be one team. And it depends on how they're going to sit at the table and what they're going to say at the table. Because again, but like I said, my phone is about to die and I need to get ready for my classes on tomorrow. That's why I be trying to tell y'all. Because now what happened, that means that then I got to be up 5 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, working on this stuff for these classes with these people right here. But until that, we do what we got to do. But then ATR don't care about the rest of us, the little brother show. But yes, all right, we see y'all tomorrow.
Send that agenda for tomorrow for the sports reporters. You the host tomorrow.
I got to work all that out too, and all that. I'm like saying, see, and I haven't eaten. I haven't eaten yet. So, but they don't care about us.
Me and Harrison got the rest of it. This will be a shorter show tonight.
As Bob Marley had the song, Slave Driver. Yeah, ATR. Slave Driver.
It's in your contract.
Yeah, and I got it right here too. I got it right here. My brother, I'm gonna tell you, make sure you keep your contract around. You have to put your contract out on them. The ATR.
Right. I got it.
Peace and blessings.
All right. Appreciate it. All right, Doc. We got about 8 minutes, and we're gonna talk about the what I want to do while you're sitting there. We got 8 minutes. I want to take a minute and a half of it and play the promo that we have. I want everybody to share this promo. It'll be on my page tomorrow, hopefully. We still got work to do with some more of it, some more of the shows, and they'll be added later on. So y'all just pay attention to it. We're trying to promote the platform. A lot of people think it's just 1 or 2 shows with the Rabble, Run Tell That, and Kesha Gibson-Carter, but it's a bunch of shows. It's over 20 shows, 18 that we're currently airing, with another 3 that are affiliate shows, and we're coming at it to real hard with a whole lot of information. So y'all watch this promo. Now, where did it go? I will play it right now because it got caught up. I don't know. I tell you, we've been having difficulties all night long.
Okay.
So here it is now, our promo.
Okay. I like that.
Okay, I'm still working on it. I just want people to see that we have a bunch of stuff, a bunch of information. We got everything from health to sports to we got religion and business coming up. We got real estate coming up. Those weren't even on there just now. Black history, little known Black history facts. We got everything coming. And so y'all just pay attention to it. We're growing and we're doing a whole bunch of things. It takes time to get to where we want to get, and but we're going to get there. And y'all just stay supportive of the platform, and we'll get that information out. Once I see something that I know our community needs, then it's incumbent upon me to make sure that our community gets those things. Every day, we try to put on something. I think we'll top out probably at 4 times 7 is 28. The most that I'll be able to probably do is about 28 shows. We're at 18 with 4 or 5 in the works. So we'll have over 20, 21 to 24 shows before the month is out, I hope. Because we got 2 more starting, one on the 9th, one on the 13th. They were on there already. And then we have all those shows that are in development now. So y'all just stay tuned. We are trying to take the nation by storm. I don't think there's nobody out there with this type of platform that we're doing on this level. It might be somebody out there with 1 or 2 shows, but I haven't seen them doing it on this particular level. So somebody will see us after a while, and we'll get to where we need to be and get to the next level so that we can do this all over the country, California, New York, Texas. Even though we got hosts in California and in Texas, we don't have none in New York. We got them in Charlotte, Florida, South Carolina, Georgia. I think that's it. But and Alabama, I think. One in Alabama. But we want to make sure that we're covering everything for our community, that the information is out there, because we don't get it from the mainstream media the way that we should be getting it. They might do a story on us for 1 minute about something good and 10 minutes about something bad, and then they'll spend the next 5 minutes on an injured dog. I have nothing against dogs. I'm not a dog lover, but I don't have anything against dogs. But you can't spend 5 minutes on a dog and 1 minute on a man. It's not, doesn't equate to fairness. So y'all share that. Y'all let people know that the shows that we have, y'all look for what y'all see on the commercial. Y'all see the commercial out there, that promo ad. Please share it for us so everybody can see it. And we got the great Charlie Brown on there somewhere on the end. So tell the people about your show one more time. We got a few minutes left, and tell them all about your show. And I'm gonna take the last minute and talk about the rise of a black queen, which was part 2 of this show.
Gotcha. So I'll keep it quick. I'm Dr. Harrison Davis, and I'm a co-host for a show, 2 Therapists and a Microphone, with my co-host, Dr. Kesha Dickerson, on Thursday nights at 7:30 p.m. And we talk about not only mental health, emotional health, but general wellness, social issues that are primarily affecting the Black community. We're here to provide some education, some awareness, and answer some of your questions about your situations, your dilemmas, to provide you with some guidance from some people who are licensed therapists, educated, trained, and experienced, to give you some beneficial information designed to help you out. So see us on Thursday nights, 7:30 p.m. That's 2 Therapists and a Microphone, with my co-host, Dr. Kesha Dickerson.
Look like somebody's trying to draft you to come be on this show. Well, all my hosts, one is in Phoenix in a basketball tournament. One must have got stuck in traffic because she was on the way and called me and said she'll be late. I don't know where Tiffany at today. And Robert has taken a couple of weeks off to handle some business. So,
okay.
So that was left me and Dr. Torre. He had just before my show came on. And so he saw me there waiting on them to come in. He usually on there every week with us because his perspective from the way that he gives it to our community is so needed. And like Jackson John said, he's talking about we need to keep, what he said first was, you need to keep Dr. Harris Davis on the show. Harrison Davis.
Well, I got to do another show.
and say he's an interesting man. He really knowledgeable. You need to keep him on the show because I like him personally myself. Dr. Davis needs to stay on the show. Oh Lord, he watch him on Thursday at 7:30. Every Thursday at 7:30, Dr. Davis, Harrison Davis will be there to give you all the information on his show. Two therapists and a microphone out of Atlanta, Georgia. Him and Dr. Kesha Richardson.
Dickerson.
Dickerson. I don't know where I get Richardson from. So y'all saw the promo. We're going to take up the second part of that on Saturday. But what I meant to download, it was two real quick commercials for Alderwoman Kesha Gibson-Carter, who was the mayoral candidate. We're going to have our own Kesha. Y'all had y'all's in Atlanta. We're going to have our Kesha here. So
okay.
We already got our Kesha, but we're going to have mayor.
Rise of the Keshas.
Yeah. And so they're very much alike. Both are very smart, bright women. And we're going to see what we can do about getting her in this position so we can turn this city around. But we'll talk about that more on Saturday. Is the rise of a Black political queen, just like we had the death of a Black beauty queen. And that was the name of the show for today. And my crew didn't get in because I know you don't know her, so I don't want to sit here and I was going to let them talk about it, so you don't know her, so I'll just wait until Saturday and bring it on the watchdogs. But other than that, we want everybody to pay attention to all the shows. I'm going to close with the one more time with that video. Dr. Davis, I appreciate you coming out. Y'all watch his show tomorrow night, 7:30. He'll probably be going from 7:30 to 8. He'll probably end up doing 7:30 to 8:30 because y'all saw that he could talk. And we had two great subjects that he is comfortable talking about, and very intelligently he brought those subjects to life for us. So we appreciate you coming out, and we thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow at 7:30. 7:30 tomorrow night. Two therapists and a mic, and I'm going to take y'all out with one more time with that promo video, and then we're going to end it there. Y'all share. Y'all can catch the promo video on my page or on the ATR page, everywhere else in the next 24 hours, okay? And Dr. Davis, I'll talk with you tomorrow.
All right. Take care.
Good night.
I like that.